Friends, we have the, all caps, Graham Rahal, the Ohio State. All right, well, from the state of Ohio.
Yes.
Graham Rahal, you own 214 different businesses, I believe. Tomorrow it'll be about 304, but of the many things you do outside of driving in the NTT IndyCar Series, you have done the crazy thing I told you not to and others told you not to. Oh, I'm going to become a team owner. Thankfully you have.
Yeah.
Here in the Radical paddock, tell me about this choice, because not only do you have three great cars, you've got a great crew, and you're winning already.
Yeah. I mean, Nick and Jordan have done an excellent job. I mean, you know, Jordan swept down at Sebring. Nick's having a great weekend here. Jordan, I mean, 1-2 in both the first two races. See if we can finish it off here. But they've done an amazing job. And Kenny, you know, we're getting him up to speed. He's a first-time racer. He's loving it. He's been a long-time client of GRP's, which is where this all comes from. That, you know, for us, Radical was a great fit. We have a lot of guys doing track days. We've got a lot of guys who want to go racing. And if you want to do that and you want to do that with Porsche, it's going to be expensive. You want to do it with Ferrari Cup, it's going to be real expensive. And so for me, you know, I felt like this was an extremely capable car, a series that's very competitive, but it's very affordable. And we can sell the cars, we can service the cars, and in my new building, we can store the cars, and we can wrap the cars. So whatever you want, I can do it all within my new campus. And so for me, there was a business model that this really worked for us. But I'm excited. You know, it's been a lot of fun for me. Between this, obviously the Ducati program, Rahal Ducati Moto has been great. But just to see this stuff, and the other nice thing about Radical is they're here.
Yeah.
There are a lot of IndyCar weekends. The majority of their races, I think one, is with IndyCar. And so that fits really well.
Let's close on that. So there is a real community feel within the Radical paddock. Yeah, you came up the American Open Wheel ladder, Atlantics, and all kinds of great things. Great places to be, but those are all kind of, I just want to get to the top. I don't really care about the intermediate steps. There's a real kind of vibe here. You've got some young pros who want to level up. You've got clients who are more gentlewoman drivers. This is more like a home.
So you can do what you wish. You know, if you're John Fields, who's been doing this forever, John and Clint, Columbus, Ohio boys, they're having fun. You know, John's not trying to get to IndyCar, you know, but he's out here racing the SR10s and he's winning and having fun. If you're Jordan Missig, Nick D'Orlando, you want to get to IndyCar. So this provides a car that's extremely capable, and as I've told them all, not only is it capable, likely quicker than most of the small feeder series open wheel cars, but also relates very well to IMSA. So even if the IndyCar path doesn't work, the IMSA opportunity can be there and you relate really well to that. But we can help develop this series into a feeder series, so it can be both. The biggest thing is when you look at the budget here, it's massively less money than Indy Next, even USF, than a lot of the opportunities that are out there. And so for some of these guys, they've got enough budget to go here, to be relevant, to be racing on IndyCar weekends, but they don't have the budget necessarily to go to the next level. And then for us, you know, with our digital branding, digital media company with Stillhouse and everything else that we've got going on, we feel we can help their sponsors get some good coverage and help push it forward. So that's where I'm trying to bridge the gap. You want to become a pro? We can help you get there. You want to have fun? We can definitely help you do that. And so it's been good. We thought this year we would just dip our toe in the water. Of course, we won the first races. I think we've won the first 5 races. And so now it's become a little more serious than that, you know. I think Jeff, our team manager, Zach, who's worked for me forever, who's the lead mechanic over here. Now the championship, you know, now you're really focused on committing every weekend and trying to win a championship for these kids. But it's been great for us.
Friends, we have the incredible young American talent, that being Nick D'Orlando. Nick, you're finding a really great opportunity here in the Radical paddock. You're doing a heck of a bunch of winning already and having a lot of great success. You with the SR3 class, this 1500. This is something that you are finding works for you, is doing great things, coming off of many years of USF championships, open wheel racing and such. You're accustomed to the little single seaters that are light as air and so on. You're finding this car to be something that performs a lot like that. So we wanted to talk about the car and learn about it from you. When you look at the front suspension, latest cutting edge dampers, you've got proper brakes, discs, you've got everything you need downforce up front with a big old splitter, great Venturi tunnels beneath that. Tell folks about the driving experience of these cars, both from the modern technology, but also you're able to demonstrate a lot of talent and speed too.
Yeah, so I mean, Radical definitely put together a good car. They had the right people when they were figuring out how to design it. It has standard modern dual wishbone suspension in the front here, typical on many race cars and in the open wheel stuff. It's a good suspension package, good braking package, and a very stable car at speeds, as we can see with the downforce and the splitter and stuff in the front end. As far as driving goes, I found it quite to be a good parallel to USF 2000 and some of the junior open wheel series.
Yeah.
I don't find it to be too different, so it was easy to come from some of those and get acclimated to this car quite well. I only did one test day with the team before we went to Sebring, and we ended up with 3 on-track podiums at Sebring. So we definitely got the hang of it quick, but the GRP crew does a fantastic job. You know, they've got plenty of experience, so they put together a good car right away. As far as driving goes, definitely some good brake feel. We've got a bunch of things in the seat that we can work on and change as well. Standard brake bias adjuster there on the right. To the left of it, that red knob is a master switch just for our power. We have a fancy pad on the left side. Instead of having like ignition switches that we're used to in the open wheel cars, we have a pad with our power button, our lights, our ignition, and our starter.
Steering wheel.
Steering wheel, it's not powered. It's got paddles on it, so the car is definitely heavy. You feel a lot of feedback in it. It's cool. It's got multiple maps on the red dial in the center. The dash, like other race cars, shows us all the data and information we need to see when we're out there. For example, lap time, oil pressures, engine temps, things like that. So lots of data and information in the seat. We even have this cool little Race Logic blue box at the top left, where in race 3 in Radical Cup, we have mandatory pit stops. You have to be in pit lane for 60 seconds, no less. So that cool, neat little timer there helps us predict our times in and out of pit lane, so we can make sure that stop is effective and efficient.
You know, I love as well is we are making sure that everybody who is driving a Radical is in as safe a cocoon as possible. And between the head surround, which is very similar to what you see in NASCAR, IndyCar, and so on, Formula One, you also have a lot of protection and triangulation here with a lot of great steel tubing. So you know while you're in the car, you can attack at 100% and put any concerns about safety out of your mind. So that's pretty phenomenal as well. You look at the back, and this is one of the fun parts about the Radical approach from the moment they started building cars. It was never about, let's go find some big Chevy V8, right? Makes a ton of sound, makes crazy power, and also sits like a boat anchor in the back of the car. The approach has always been, let's think more motorcycle type mindset. We can make a lot of power. We can have a lot of great things, but let's think about lightweight and chassis balance. Tell folks about that, because the heart of these cars, they're really important to the overall way they work.
Right, absolutely. So in the Radical SR3 1500 category, because there's a 1500 and a 1340, the 1500 is CCs, so it's a 1.5 liter. I believe it's a Hayabusa motor. It produces 238 horsepower.
Which is crazy.
Which is really good considering what they weigh, which is I think just under 1,400 pounds.
And they're super reliable too. Like
Absolutely.
That's the thing. When you have a small motor making a lot of power, you're always concerned, oh, how long is that going to last? It'll last forever.
Anyone who knows bikes knows they can push some power out of those really low displacement engines, and this one even's got another half liter over big engines on bikes, so it allows it to produce that extra power. It pushes it through a pretty sophisticated sequential gearbox, so our shifting is very accurate with the paddles. Quite sophisticated there. You know, fast, quick shifting, easy to keep us without unsettling the go-kart. Sorry, lots of go-kart stuff this
That's
week.
not a bad comparison.
Easy to keep the car underneath you when you're downshifting and upshifting and stuff like that.
Rear suspension looks very similar to the front, same concept as well. Something that easily maintained and serviceable, which is really important at this level, which is kind of a training level as well in the sport, where from the crew, right? Because there's a lot of folks, there's some great veterans here, but even if you have some younger, newer mechanics coming into the sport, you want to have something that is easily accessible They can maintain the car during and between events. So just love the fact that this Radical Series, and there are many throughout the world, but it is really picking up steam here in the US. Let's close on that. You want to get to big things in IndyCar. You were on that open wheel trajectory for many years. You said, I'm going to reroute and come over here. Some might think, oh, he's given up his hopes. Not the case. You've said this is actually a place where I can level up more and hopefully get back to the top series here sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. The Radical Cup for me has been a good sidestep to the open wheel stuff. The problem with the junior open wheel is just budget. Typically, I only did 6 races over the course of almost 3 years, so that's not even a full season. Coming over here in the Radical Cup, the budget was definitely more friendly, and I heard GRP was joining, so I said, what more could I learn in the open wheel stuff than going with people who have been doing it their whole lives and have a successful career in IndyCar. So I decided, point my family and I decided to point our eyes in this direction. Talk to Graham, talk to the guys over here at the team, and figure out what we can do for this season. And clearly it's worked out. I'm definitely learning a lot, lots of competition, especially with my teammate Jordan Missig and the other drivers who are out there, some of which come from the junior open wheel, just as my teammate Jordan does. So I thought it's been a great place where I can develop, be with the right people, get the right connections, and use it to forward my career in a more efficient way.
Young American talent choosing Radicals as the place to add and build to their legacy. Big brother Michael, champion on the open wheel ladder, currently in Indy NXT. I mean, just you do well this year. All we'll need to do next year is just peel the Michael off. We'll keep the D'Orlando. We'll just put Nick. But doing big things in a paddock that is growing and becoming so much more a part of the motor racing culture and world here in professional levels, especially in the IndyCar paddock.